Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive. But guys, week 2 of the GBA, the New York Metapods are taking on Lord Emvee himself and the San Diego Chimchargers. If you guys missed the pregame press conference, I encourage you to watch it. I did talk a lot about our match last week and also broke down our entire team, all the movesets, EV spreads, everything like that. And I talked a lot about Emvee's team here. Before I connect and jump into the match, I want you guys to know that I was a little bit frustrated last week in our match, and it's because I take these matches pretty seriously. I spent a lot of time preparing and stuff like that, but I realized after that, and I realized after the comments that, I really shouldn't be getting that frustrated over a Pokemon match. I did what I entered this season saying, hey, you know what? I won my championship last season. I should just be having fun, and you know what? If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It's not the end of the world. I spent a ton of time preparing for this match, so don't take my statements here as me not caring. I definitely care, but I just want to try to have some more fun with it and just try to enjoy the matches. And I think if I do that, I'll likely play better anyway. Our match here is against Emvee, guys, and I do encourage you guys to please do me the favor and check out his channel. I say this for every opponent, but I really mean it this time. I mean it all the times, but I really, really mean it this time, guys. Emvee is a great friend of mine. He's a huge reason as to why I won the championship last season. He really helped me with my team building and helped me become a better player. And, I really am looking forward to this matchup here because I think it's going to be a great battle. And hopefully, we're able to give you guys a really good show and a really good match here. His team is very, very scary, as I said in the pregame, and he's a very good battler. So we'll see what's going to happen. You can kind of see what I'm predicting his team to be here. I think that Ampharos is definitely coming as a check to Victini because it's his best response to it. He might not bring it, but I think he's going to bring it. I think the Togekiss is likely as well because of its typing. Jirachi, I think, is 1,000,000% coming. I think the Donphan could come. If the Donphan doesn't come, that actually is a lot better for me because it means my sticky webs are going to be a little bit more reliable. Haxorus, I think, could come, but he could really switch it up. He could bring like a Smash Pass Gorbis. He might bring that Wobbuffet. He might bring Sneasel or Slurpluff. He's got a lot of different options to bring. His team is very diverse. So I did my best to plan for everything, but in these games, a lot of times the game is won or lost in the preparation stages. So you just have to kind of do your best there. But anyway, I'm really excited for this match, guys. I encourage you to show your love in that like button down below. Definitely subscribe if you're new, and definitely show some love to Emvee. Before we jump into it, though, we do have a question of the day really quick, so type out your thoughts. What's your favorite electric type Pokemon? Kind of random, but we do have a couple electric types in this game with Rotom and Galvantula and Ampharos, and I was trying to think of a question, and that one sounded pretty good. So let me know what your favorite electric type is. I would say mine is probably Galvantula. It is a bug type, and I love me some electric type bug types, but I love Rotom as well, so some pretty cool stuff there. But anyway, let me cut and get all connected here, and we'll get this match going. All right, guys, we are connected here. We're gonna find out what the teams are gonna be for this matchup here. Again, I think there's a few things that I expect him to bring, but there's a lot of variation. So we'll see what he's gonna bring right here. He does bring the Gorbis and the Smash Passing, so that is incredibly scary. He does not bring the Ampharos, though. Decides to bring some very different things. So I did say in the pregame that there was a chance that he brought a Smash Passing Gorbis with Wobbuffet. He brings the Haxorus, does not bring the Donphan, so a couple things there. I'm gonna try to get my sticky webs up right away here. He could have Defog on his Togekiss, but I think that that's my best play. So I could probably try to stop something here and maybe put some offensive pressure on him. Doesn't bring the Keldeo, does bring the Sneasel, though. So a lot of things that I kind of figured he could bring, but some things that I didn't expect either, or I kind of almost 100% didn't expect. But let me just make some notes here. So he does not bring the Omega Ampharos. Instead, he brings the Wobbuffet. Doesn't bring the Keldeo, brings the Sneasel, and brings the Gorbis here, which was one of those things that you can't really do much about because in the GBA you can Smash Pass. So that's a couple things to keep in mind here. So Gorbis, Jirachi, Wobbuffet, Haxorus, Sneasel, and Togekiss. So my play here is pretty standard. It's pretty straightforward, but it is to get my sticky webs up because that'll really help me out against a couple of his threats. And if that gives him an opportunity to defog away my hazards, then so be it. He's going to do that. But I really feel like getting my hazards up here right away with my sticky web is going to be my best bet to start off this match here. It is a little bit predictable, but I do think it is my best bet. So we'll see what he's going to do here. I do have my Focus Sash intact, so if he does have a Stealth Rocker, that means it is going to be his Jirachi. He is going to lead with Sneasel here. Now, I do want to just check a couple things here, because Sneasel could definitely be carrying some sort of set to try to stop us here in our tracks. Let me just double check. I do believe Sneasel does get Taunt. I do believe that. Let me just double check here. And obviously Sneasel's going to be faster than us. Let me just take a look here at Sneasel. I believe it gets Taunt. If it does, I might actually just Volt Switch. But let me take a look here. So he's got his Sneasel. It does 100% get Taunt. And it's not going to want to take a hit from us. So I think he's going to try to stop us from setting up our sticky webs here. And I could actually just go for a Bug Buzz and knock him out. So I'm gonna go for that play. I'm gonna try to knock him out because I know I could live any hit from him. And if he taunts us, I'd rather him not. I'd rather try to get our sticky webs up, potentially knock this thing out. So I'm gonna go for the Bug Buzz and see what he does. He is gonna go for the knockoff here, so I could have gotten my webs up. He is gonna just knock off our Focus Sash here. If he is not Sash himself, will actually pick up this kill. And he is indeed Focus Sash. So he is Focus Sash and has, you know, just a little bit of health here. Now this is kind of a tough spot for us because I have to make a switch. If he has the Pursuit, that's gonna be really good, but there's not a whole lot I could do here. So I'm actually gonna go into Ivy. If he has the Pursuit and pursuits us, he is gonna go for Pursuit. So Sneasel's gonna pick up that kill there. A little bit unfortunate for us, but what are you gonna do? So he's able to get our sticky webs eliminated from this match. Something I said I really wanted to do was get those sticky webs up, but I took a chance there that he was gonna try to go for taunt, and that was not the case. So Sneasel kills Galvantula with Pursuit. So we've seen a couple moves on this Sneasel here. We've seen Knockoff, and we've seen Pursuit. Okay. I think my best play here is actually to go into my Blueberry. Blueberry has the opportunity to, actually this is a bit challenging here. I think I could go for a fake out and knock him out, but I think he could switch into his Wobbuffet here, which would be kind of problematic for us. So I'm actually gonna double into my, Rotom here. I think that's my best play. Because I think my fake out is very, very obvious here, and I think he's gonna make the switch into Wobbuffet. So I'm gonna go into Rotom here. Wobbuffet is a game changer in this situation because it forces me to make switches that I otherwise wouldn't want to make. So he very well could save this thing. He very well could just sack it off here, but I don't know if I want to chance losing my Metacham this early to the Wobbuffet. So I'm gonna make the switch into Rotom here. Very unfortunate I didn't get my sticky webs up. Big misplay there at the beginning. I needed those to really help me out, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Galvantula didn't do its job. It did not do its job as I wanted. I am worried about that Wobbuffet coming in here though, but I can't go for fake out and try to beat a Wobbuffet one-on-one because I'll lose that match and I'll lose my Metacham way too early, and to me that's just not worth it. So if he decides to stay in here and go for something like a knockoff, then that's fine. I just feel like my priority here is way too obvious, and the fact that I could be scarfed is way too obvious. So I think he would try to save this little Sneasel here. He is going to switch out here, most likely into Wobbuffet. He's going to go into GG, it's Emvee, which is the Wobbuffet. So I did go for the switch there on the double, so that works out well for us. So we did predict that. Now I'm going to go into my Rotom here, as that's already the case. Now he has a chance to potentially kind of mess us up here, but I think my play is to go for the Toxic, because I really want to whittle this thing down as best as I can. And by going for Toxic, even though he could Encore us, that's going to at least allow us to whittle this thing down. If I go for the Volt Switch and he goes for Mirror Coat, which would be the predictable play, he could bounce back a Mirror Coat and really put in a lot of work against us. So it's going to be in my interest to try to get my Stealth Rocks up at some point in the near future here as well. By getting my Stealth Rocks up, that will knock out the Sneasel on entry. But this Wobbuffet is very, very challenging. Very, very challenging for us to play around. Luckily, we do have the Volt Switch, though, if I need it. But this could give an opportunity to get freely into something like Gorbis, which is why it's so scary. And that's why I'm so worried about this thing, and I really need to get a Toxic off. If he goes into Jirachi, that's fine. I'll just Volt Switch out on that. But we have to play very, very carefully around this Wobbuffet. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. I personally don't believe that Wobbuffet should have been tier 4. I was trying to draft it myself because I felt like it was a good snag in that spot, but Emvee was just a step ahead of me and grabbed it just a few picks before me. I think I mentioned the team builder, which it's good, man. It's good. I know it's straight in Ubers because of its ability, and its ability is banned in standard format. We allow it in the GBA because we find that it's somewhat fair when you know it's coming, but at the same time, you still can't fully prepare for something like this because just how bulky it is and the fact that even though you know exactly what it's gonna do, not having the option to switch out makes it very challenging. So he is going to switch himself here. If he goes into Jirachi, that's going to be a really good play. He's going to go into Baby Chimp here, which is going to be his Sneasel. Hopefully I can hit this Toxic here and knock this thing out. I do hit the Toxic, and that's going to knock out the Sneasel, which is very, very nice. So Rotom kills Sneasel with Toxic, and that's actually really big for us because I just killed one of his Pokemon. Kind of made a trade there, so I'm sure he would have easily taken that trade Sneasel for Galvantula. I should have went for Webs, but I was too worried about Taunt. That was the wrong play on my part. I should have definitely went for Webs first turn, not Bug Buzz, but I just saw an opportunity to knock him out, and he had Pursuit and stuff. So here comes the Haxorus here. Now this thing is incredibly scary because if he sets up on us, we're kind of in trouble, and this is going to be a tough situation for us to be in. Now he could be Lumberry, he could be DD Lum, and I'm expecting him to be DD Lum. So because of that, I think I need to switch out here. But the switch I have, I said this in the pregame, this thing is incredibly challenging for us to beat. I think I need to Volt Switch out here, and I think I just need to go into Ferrothorn and just hopefully set up a Leech Seed on this thing or try to weaken it. Because realistically, if it sets up a Dragon Dance, there's not a whole lot I can do against it. And I don't want to go for Toxic, because I'm sure he has Mold Breaker and the ability, and he's probably Lumberry. So I'm just going to go for that Volt Switch here. If he does go for the EQ, it's going to do over half, but I should be able to live it. It looks like it does about 56%, but if he goes for Dragon Dance, that's where I need to be going into my Ferrothorn and hoping that I can live a superpower. He does just go for the Earthquake here, so we're going to see that do probably about 50 to 60%, and it does actually more than that. Did he get a crit? It is a crit. That's a big, big crit. Very unfortunate circumstance there, but at least I know that I could switch into something else here, and I get a crit back, but mine is a little bit less effective. Mine is a little bit less effective. So let me take a look here and see if I can live a Poison Jab from this thing, if I need to. I can definitely live a Poison Jab from this thing. So I saw EQ. I'm just debating on whether I go into Altaria here, or if I go into Ivy and see if he has, I don't want him to be Scarfed, which is why I'm a little worried to go into Victini here, because if he's Scarfed, I could potentially lose a Pokemon already. I actually really like Nimbus here. And I'm debating on whether I make a prediction here and go... If I go into Nimbus, do I predict the Jirachi and Fire Blast? Or do I go... I mean, I could go into Victini. And the problem is if I go into Victini and he's Scarfed, he'll knock us out. Scarfed Haxorus is pretty much unlikely, but still a threat nevertheless. All right, I'm going to go into Altaria here. And this is scary because he could trap me with Wobbuffet. He really could. But... I have to take this chance here. I think I'm going to make a prediction that he's going to switch, and I'm going to probably go for a Fire Blast here to catch the Jirachi, because we definitely need to make some plays here. And a Fire Blast will do a tremendous amount to Jirachi, and I think that's my play. Against Haxorus, if Haxorus takes the Fire Blast and goes for a Poison Jab here, which he very well could, he's going to do a good amount to us. He is definitely going to do a good amount to us. He's going to do almost 70%. But I'm going to make that play. I'm going to go for the Mega Evolution. I'm going to go for the Fire Blast, predicting the Jirachi switch. And see what he's going to do here. He could have the Poison Jab. But Jirachi's his definite best switch in here. And I think part of the issue is if I go for a Dragon Dance here, that could be actually pretty scary for him. So we'll see what he's going to do here. He is going to stay in, it looks like. So I misplay here. If he goes for Poison Jab, I definitely misplayed. I could have Hyper Voice and knocked this thing out. He is going to go for Poison Jab. That's going to do a tremendous amount of damage to us. It won't knock us out, but it's going to do a lot. You can see it does a tremendous amount. He does not get the Poison. I go for the Fire Blast, obviously predicting the Jirachi. That was a failed prediction there. It's going to do, you know, a little bit of damage, nothing too crazy there. I am 100% forced to switch out here. I have to go into Ferrothorn. My play is very, very obvious here. If he has Superpower, we're in a lot of trouble. But I didn't want to make that. I really felt I was going to be able to get some momentum there and get that Jirachi to come in. But that over prediction is not a good one. Not a good over prediction. I have to go into Ferrothorn here, and I believe I have to just hope he doesn't have Superpower, because if he does, Ferrothorn's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. And if he goes into his Wobbuffet, that's incredibly problematic for us as well. So at least I know he's not Scarfed. He's probably Lum. In fact, I should have probably anticipated Lum initially and thought he wasn't Scarfed, but it was too risky for me to go into Victini, in my opinion. As much as I wanted to, I think it was just a little too risky. So we are faster than a couple of Pokemon on his team, especially at Wobbuffet. We can maybe hit something pretty hard later with a Hyper Voice, so I'm going to save Altaria here. And I'm just trying to see. Hitmon, yeah, I mean, if I can get Metacham in and weaken that Wobbuffet, we might be in a decent spot. But we'll see what he's got here with this Haxorus. We'll see if he does have the superpower or not. He might just go for, he's going to just go for the Earthquake, so he knew Earthquake would kill anyway at that range. And we're going to be able to take that. And we could definitely lose superpower at this range as well. The problem is if he goes into his Wobbuffet here, I am trapped and there's nothing I can do about it, which is what makes this incredibly frustrating. But I'm just going to go for the Leech Seed here. I'm going to prioritize Leech Seed because that way I can at least seed the Wobbuffet, and I can seed if he goes into Gorbis, that'll be seeded if he encores me and stuff like that. But this Wobbuffet makes things incredibly challenging for us because it's very hard for us to switch around because he can just trap our bulky Pokemon. So he's going to save his Haxorus here. Unfortunate had I gone for that Hyper Voice. And here comes that Wobbuffet, which is here to trap us. And again, unfortunately, I'm just running out of options for this Wobbuffet. I knew there was a chance it could come, but in this situation, it just is very challenging to really do a whole lot against it when it can just, you know, encore you into whatever, and I'm not able to switch out here. And at least I can get some residual damage with this, you know, the Leech Seed there to slowly weaken it down. He might be Custap Berry with D-Bond or something. But I think my play here is actually to go for the Power Whip, because that way if he at least locks me into it, I can hit the Gorbis, so he won't be able to get a free switch into Gorbis. So I'm going to go for the Power Whip here. I'm sure he'll go for counter, or he might try to counter us. But maybe with leftovers and Leech Seed, we'll be able to kind of get a decent amount of health back here, and we can wear him down. He is actually fast enough, so he's going to Encore us into Leech Seed. So not much I can do there. We're forced to simply Leech Seed. And that's definitely unfortunate, because now whatever he switches into gets a free switch, and it could be that Gorbis. So I am forced to just Leech Seed here. I'm sure he's going to switch out, but at least I get the Leech Seed on whatever comes in, whether it's the Jirachi or whether it's the Togekiss or whether it's the Gorbis. So that's why I did go for Leech Seed on the Haxorus there. I think the Gorbis could be coming in here. IDM CTC. There is the Gorbis. So here comes the potential attempt at a setup sweep here for the Gorbis. He's probably going to go for that Shell Smash pass here. Very scary. At least we got the Leech Seed off. And I unfortunately cannot go... actually, can I go for Power Whip? I can only use Leech Seed. So because of the Encore, I'm stuck in a Leech Seed here. So my play now is, in my opinion, it's to go into Blueberry and go for a Fake Out and try to fake this thing out and weaken it. If he goes for a Shell Smash, I'll sack off Rotom after that. Have to switch here. If he goes for an offensive move, he goes for an offensive move, but I really got to go for a Fake Out here, try to weaken this thing. I'm assuming the Shell Smash is coming through here. There is the Shell Smash, so I saw it from the team builder, but you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I want to see if he has White Herb or not. Hoping he doesn't. Does he have White Herb? He does have the White Herb, so he doesn't have an item now. So at least I can Fake Out. And we are getting Leech Seed residual damage on this thing, so that's actually pretty useful. That is actually pretty useful. So I'm gonna go for that Fake Out here. It's really my only play. Really my only play. And my hope is that if I can keep him, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to be very challenging for me to keep him from being able to beat Ferrothorn. Because all he has to do is pass it into either Jirachi or Togekiss, and Ferrothorn pretty much dies to any of those two now that they're +2. But at least this Fake Out will do some chip damage to this thing, and I can hopefully weaken it. I'll get the Fake Out, and I'll get the Leech Seed recovery. So that'll kind of make up for our Life Orb damage here. But Fake Out's my only play, so... this thing is scary, man, and I know he's gonna have Baton Pass. I know he's gonna have Baton Pass. So I'm gonna be faced with a very difficult decision here after this Fake Out, in whether or not I want to attack, hoping he switches, or whether I want to just take the hit from his Gorbis. Because if he Baton Passes, I get a free hit off on something, but this is one of my few answers to his other Pokemon, so... He also could very well go into his Wobbuffet here, which would be an interesting play, because if he goes into Wobbuffet, he actually just wins against Medicham. He just beats Medicham. and then I don't know what else I can do. I just get trapped by Wobbuffet, and we're in trouble. So it's almost a win-win for him in this spot. But there is some hope. We know that Victini is going to outspeed the remainder of his team if I can get rid of this Shell Smasher with the ability to U-turn on a Wobbuffet. So Victini is going to speed tie at least with Jirachi, and will outspeed the other guy. So he's going to switch here. He's probably going to go into Wobbuffet. And then he does go into Wobbuffet here. So he makes the play into Wobbuffet. Very smart play on his part, realizing that I was going to be able to potentially beat him out at that point in time. So now let's take a look here at Metacham versus Wobbuffet, because fortunately there's not a whole lot I can do against this thing. High jump kick does about 39%. I think I'm actually gonna Thunder Punch though. I have an opportunity to potentially, actually, you know what I could do? I could simply fake out until he switches. That doesn't seem like the best idea though. Bullet Punch is gonna do like 30% to him. Thunder Punch is gonna do like 30% to him. I could Thunder Punch. Hold on, let me calculate this here. So 266 times 0.3. So that puts him at 78. He actually will kill us if I attack him. That's kind of the problem. If I attack him, he just kills us. I don't know. The problem is if that Gorbis gets a free Shell Smash again, we automatically lose. So I don't know if I can afford to lose Metacham here. I think I'm gonna go for the fake out. I know it doesn't do anything. He's gonna go for counter. So he realizes I might just sit here and go for fake out against him. And that's gonna be that. I'm actually gonna go for the Thunder Punch this time, or the Bullet Punch. I think I'll go for the Bullet Punch. Would he switch here? He might just Encore us. If he Encores us, then I'm gonna fake out again. He might just Encore us this time. He's gonna go for counter again. So he might be trying to do some shenanigans here. High jump kick could kill him from this range if I land 2 high jump kicks. I'm gonna go for it, predicting him to Encore me. I'm gonna go for the high jump kick, and hopefully I can hit 2 of them. And hopefully he doesn't counter here. Go for Encore. He goes for counter, so he is gonna pick up that kill. So he was gonna just sit there until I ran out of attacks. So Wobbuffet kills Metacham with counter. Nothing I could do there. That was, I think, the proper plays. So I really tried. I tried my bestest, guys. Okay, so this is kind of an interesting situation here. Victini comes in here and actually puts in some work. Potentially. I could just U-turn and probably knock this thing out, I would guess, at this range. I would imagine a U-turn would knock this thing out, and I could safely switch my Victini out here. It definitely does kill him from here, unless he's max HP, but that wouldn't really make sense. You don't really run max HP on this thing, and even so, it's still gonna kill. So U-turn gives me a free switch out, so I'm gonna do that. This could give me some momentum that I desperately need here. So I'm gonna go for that U-turn, and we'll see what he's gonna do. Ah, he's got that Destiny Bond. Here comes. No, what is that? What did he just go for? I have no idea what just happened. The Tanga Berry. Okay, well, the Tanga Berry scared me, but it doesn't matter. So Victini kills Wobbuffet with U-turn. Okay, so now I have to be very smart. I cannot allow him to set up on us. So I need to make the switch that makes the most sense here. Now, I think Nimbus is a very interesting switch in. It kind of baits in the Haxorus. Ivy keeps the Haxorus out, but could bait in. It actually keeps the Gorbis from setting up. And the problem is the Togekiss, he could flamethrower us. But I do think my only play here really is to go into our Ferrothorn. Because I need to keep that Haxorus from coming out and potentially setting up. And I also need to stop that Gorbis from potentially trying to set up on us. He could very well go into Togekiss here and try to fire off a Flamethrower. That's a very potential possibility. But we got rid of the Wobbuffet, so that's one of our biggest issues out of the way. His Haxorus is weakened. Victini can beat the Haxorus. Victini can actually beat his entire team at this point in time if I'm able to set it up in the right situation. I need to weaken that Togekiss, though. The Togekiss needs to be a little bit weaker for Victini to be able to do what it needs to do, which is going to be tough because I don't really have much that can work with Victini at this point to help me weaken that Togekiss. So here comes CTC, which is that Gorbis once again. Now, I do have the Power Whip, which he does not know. But I believe that is going to be my play here. I think I just have to go for Power Whip here and try to knock this thing out. He might not think I have it, but Power Whip will definitely knock him out from this range. And I can live any hit from him. So I'm going to go for the Power Whip here. He's going to go for Substitute, so he's going to try to set up a sub on us. Luckily for us, I do have the Power Whip here, so as long as we're able to connect, and we do, we're going to be able to scare this thing out at least. At least scare him out. So he's sub. So that means he doesn't really have any offensive moves, which is nice. But will he continue to sub here is the question. I don't really want to go for Power Whip. I think he might sub again. I cannot afford to let this thing set up. I have to go for Power Whip. If this thing sets up and Shell Smashes again, we lose. So I really need to keep the pressure on here. I think he's gonna switch at this point in time. but I have to power whip. There's really no other option. He is going to switch out here. I really wanted to get my rocks up or go for a knockoff here, but here comes Pokemon, which is going to be that Jirachi. Now my question is, can Jirachi actually kill me from this range? My power whip's going to come off, and it's going to do very little. But let me see. Let me kind of calc that really quickly. No leftovers, so that's interesting. I can live a Fire Punch at this range and go for a knockoff here. That does seem like pretty standard damage, so I can go for a knockoff. And I do think that that's actually my proper play, is to go for the knockoff. Even though he could Fire Punch me right now and do a ton of damage or HP Fire, I think going for the knockoff here is very, very smart, because I could potentially remove a Choice Scarf and give me an opportunity to go into my Rotom, and it also, or into my Victini, and it also keeps him from potentially setting up a substitute. So I'm gonna go for the knockoff here. He is gonna go for HP Fire. We should be able to live this though, I believe. And we do live it. Not by much, but we do. We're gonna get this knockoff off here, and that is gonna do a tremendous amount of damage to him. And it is a Twisted Spoon, so he is not Scarfed, but he also lost his item. But I know he has a Psychic type move. So he's got HP Fire and Psychic move. Okay, I'm gonna make the switch now into Voltergeist and basically sack off my Rotom, as I don't really feel like it has much use at this point in the game. My switch may be predictable, but I don't anticipate him trying to set up a substitute at this point, so I think I am okay here. And we might have to deal with a speed tie here momentarily with Victini against this thing. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have, he has In Power, he has Psychic coverage because he had the Twisted Spoon, and he's also going to have Steel coverage, obviously, for Altaria. So I'm going to sack all Voltergeist here and see what he's going to do. He's going to go for Shadow Ball, so we pretty much know his moveset now, in my opinion. I don't know what the Shadow Ball was predicting. I would have actually lived that. I could have gotten my rocks up, but that's okay. Oh, the Shadow Ball is for Victini. All right, so he probably predicted the Victini to come in on the HP Fire, but it wasn't worth it to me. So Jirachi kills Victini, or Jirachi kills Rotom with Shadow Ball. Okay, so now based on the damage he's at, I kind of have to go for Blue Flare, but Blue Flare is really my best play anyway. So I'm gonna go for the Blue Flare, and we're gonna hope we win a speed tie. I know I can take a Shadow Ball, so we have to hope we win this speed tie. Come on, Victini, you got this, buddy. You got this, Victini. He's gonna switch, so we're gonna Blue Flare off on something, potentially the Togekiss. CTC, that's the Gorbis. He's gonna go into that Gorbis to save it. So we're gonna get this Blue Flare off here. 2 Blue Flares should be able to knock this thing out. And that does look like that's going to be the case. So I'm going to fire off a second Blue Flare here. I really lose nothing by doing that. I could U-turn out here, but Victini is my best answer to a lot of his Pokemon at this point, so it really just needs to stay in battle here. And if I can win a speed tie against the Jirachi, we might be okay. Victini's going to pick up the kill against the Gorbis. That's really good. Victini kills Gorbis with Blue Flare. And he might think I'm locked into it, so he could make a switch here into something else, but he probably knows I'm most likely... He could think I'm Scarfed. He could think I'm Scarfed. In fact, it's very likely he does think I'm Scarfed. I don't want to bluff that. It's not worth trying to bluff it. I have to... Here's where we're going to be faced right now. It's going to be Victini versus Togekiss. And Thunder does not do enough to knock him out. I could Blue Flare and then Thunder and knock him out, potentially. Give him the security that I can stay in on us. I don't really have a switch in a Togekiss. I mean, I can go into Ferrothorn, but he's going to have Flamethrower, so that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think my play here is if that Togekiss does come in, I Blue Flare. But if he's actually, let me just check if he's max Spadef, like max HP. Here comes the Togekiss, so it finally does show up. I actually have to go for Thunder. I have to hit 2 Thunders here, and I have to hope for the best. Because if I switch, and if I switch into Nimbus, which I could, I have to hit the Thunders. I think that's our best play here. I have to hit a Thunder, and I have to... we are going to hit it. He's got the Berry for it, though. But there is a 30% chance to paralyze here. So we do a tremendous amount to him. We get a crit. And he is going to go for the Thunder Wave and get the paralysis on us. Very unfortunate that he does get the paralysis, the Thunder Wave. But, again, our play there was to go for the Thunder. He had the Berry. But that's okay. I do have Heal Bell. So maybe I can make a switch here into Nimbus and get a Heal Bell off. I'm going to try it. I understand I could be taking a big hit here, but he's not going to go for a fairy type move against us right now. And we might be able to outspeed and get this heal bell off. See what he's going to do. He's going to go for air slash. Can I live in air slash? I have some bulk. I doubt it, but I have some bulk. We're not going to live it. So I don't get that heal bell off. I have to go into Victini here and hope for the best. But at this point, I think that's it. He has Jirachi still, but has HP fire. So really nothing I could do there. I'm gonna go into, yeah, he wins at this point, guys, because of that paralysis. He's able to simply knock us out. The proper play there should have been going into Ferrothorn and then going into Altaria for free, going for the heal bell, and then going into Victini. So I possibly just threw that game. We still would have had to hit a Thunder, but I think I just threw that game. But it doesn't. I don't know what his spread is. I'm not full speed on my Altaria, so he could have definitely had enough speed to be able to kind of whittle us down there. I'm gonna go for the Leech Seed here in case he switches. He may not actually have Flamethrower, although I fully expect him to have the Flamethrower at this point. But maybe if I get this Leech Seed off, we might be able to live a hit or something, and I can get a switch back into Victini. There's a chance Ivy can. I don't think Ivy's gonna beat the Haxorus at this point. I would need him to switch here and not have Flamethrower. Yeah, I think that would have been my best play, is to sacrifice Ferrothorn there, go into Altaria. Hopefully I outspeed, get a heal bell off, and then go back into Victini. But at the same time, I mean, it didn't really seem like there was a whole lot. I mean, I still would have had to outspeed with Altaria in the first place there, which would have been tough because if he was max speed or anything close to that, he's gonna outspeed us. He's going for the air slash here. We should be able to live this, and we do, but we get the flinch, so these things are out of our control here. There's nothing I can do about a flinch. I just want to hopefully maybe pick up one more kill here to get this closer differential. I'll go for Leech Seed. He's gonna go for air slash, so hopefully we could live this on like 1. We don't, so Togekiss kills us again. So Togekiss kills Altaria before with air slash, and Togekiss kills who is that? Pharaoh with air slash. This is a tough match for us, guys. I'm not mad about the loss here. A little frustrated that we lost, you know, obviously, as always, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, it's very challenging to play around a Wobbuffet, as you guys saw, especially with a team that I have that is very bulky. Hopefully we can live this hit and go a blue flare, but that's not happening this turn. And this is why I knew that this match was one of those matches that there was really, you know, not a whole lot I could do. I knew that it was going to come down to situations like this. We are going to get a blue flare off, though, so we should be able to knock out the Togekiss here, at the very least, and we do. So at least Victini picks up its 3rd kill of the match. So always got to fight for that differential. The differential is incredibly important in this league. So unfortunately, guys, it does look like we are going to go down. Here comes Jirachi, which can knock us out with a Shadow Ball, unless on some miracle we can, you know, fake him out here. But that was a close match, man. His Jirachi's down to about, you know, 30%, and his Haxorus is down pretty low. I'm definitely curious. I'm gonna actually message him right now and see how much speed on Togekiss. GG, by the way. Like I said, Emvee is my friend, guys, so we're gonna lose 2-0 here. Jirachi kills Victini with Shadow Ball. So pretty close match, guys, but you know, I felt pretty good about, you know, the competitiveness of it. I felt like it was a close match. In terms of mistakes that I made, again, that one mistake there with the Altaria, but he said enough to outrun Adamant max speed Altaria. Okay, cool. Yeah, so he had enough speed on his Togekiss there at the end to outspeed our Altaria regardless. So there was nothing I could do there in terms of Altaria outspeeding and heal belling. So that was going to be that regardless. I would have died to air slash there unless he missed an air slash, but that seemed it was a 95% accurate move. So in terms of other things I could have done, potentially win this game, maybe I could have made a prediction on that Haxorus earlier against the Rotom and gone into Altaria and try to put some pressure on him. Had I gone for Hyper Voice there instead of gone for Fire Blast to kill the Haxorus, we would have been able to knock that thing out of the match and potentially change some of the results in the game. But I felt like in that situation, it was in my best interest to make a prediction and try to catch that Jirachi switching in, because I felt like he was going to try to stop me from setting up a Dragon Dance there, but realistically he probably was fearing me setting up a Dragon Dance, and as a result of doing so, he felt that it was in his best interest to simply just go for the Poison Jab to get as much damage off as he could. But either way, guys, I'm not upset about how we played. I feel like we played decently well, and you know, we played against a really good competitor and a very good team. Very unique competitor here, having to take on Wobbuffet and Smash Pass with Gorbis, but I think we managed decently well, and you know, hopefully we can bounce back next next week and pick up a win. I believe we're taking on their division rivals, Nick and the Boston Red Sox next week. So hopefully we'll be able to pick up a win there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Show your love on that like button down below and subscribe if you are new. My name is Dan, also by aDrive, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.